Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine too, thank you. Before we start our lesson today, let me check your attendance first. Who is absent today?
No one, ma'am.
Okay, great. So today we are going to talk about a square and a rectangle. So, did you still remember what is a square and what is a rectangle? Okay, now I'll show you a video, so please pay attention to the video.
Hello everyone, and thank you so much. I'm so excited that you're joining me on this lesson where we get to explore the question, is a square also a rectangle? So let's tackle this problem using an analogy, and we'll start out with the definition of a cookie, which is defined as a small baked treat, typically round, flat, and crisp. And this definition certainly applies to the Oreo cookie, which happens to be one of my favorites.
Oh yeah!
So now I want you to think about the question, is every cookie an Oreo? And our answer, of course, is no. We should know that there are many different kinds of cookies that satisfied our definition, including sugar cookies, chocolate chip cookies, Girl Scout cookies, and gingerbread cookies.
Ooh!
So we can conclude that an Oreo is a special kind of cookie, and that every Oreo is a cookie, but not every cookie is an Oreo. So believe it or not, we just engaged in mathematical reasoning, and now we're going to take that same kind of thinking and apply it to our original question, is a square a rectangle? So let's go ahead and start off with the definition of a rectangle, which is a four-sided figure with four right angles. And again, we want to see if a square will satisfy this definition and allow us to answer the question, is every square a rectangle? Now, we are all familiar with squares and rectangles, and we can easily draw four-sided figures with four right angles that would be considered rectangles and satisfy our definition. I'm sure that you can also identify four-sided figures that are not rectangles, namely a parallelogram or a trapezoid, because they do not have four right angles. Now remember, since the square satisfied the definition of a rectangle, we can say that a square is a special kind of rectangle. And what makes it special is not the fact that it has four right angles, but the fact that it has four equal sides. So all the sides are congruent. So if you knew that one side of a square was 5, you would know that all the sides must be 5. So we can conclude that every square is a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square. So when you're asking yourself this question and you have a figure like the one shown, if it has four right angles and four sides, then you can conclude that the figure is a rectangle. And if those four sides are all the same length, then you can also conclude that the figure is a square. Remember that a square is a special kind of a rectangle. But also remember that not every rectangle is a square. If we extend our figure and double the length from 5 to 10, it still represents a rectangle, but this is not a square, again, because the side lengths are not the same. And that is it for this lesson. Thank you so much for joining us here at Mashup Math. We definitely teach things a little bit more creatively and from a different perspective. We like to be colorful and fun. So we hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope that we got you thinking about this topic in a different way. And we will catch all of you next time. Please stop again soon, and have a good one. See ya.
Oh yeah!
What's the difference between a quadrilateral rectangle and a square? I'm Bon Crowder with Math4.com, coming to you from Terry Pro Graphics in beautiful Houston, Texas. So what's the difference between a quadrilateral rectangle and a square? We first need the definition. A quadrilateral rectangle, as shown here, has 4 sides and 4 right angles. So any 4-sided figure that has 4 right angles is a quadrilateral rectangle. A square also has 4 sides and 4 right angles, but it has one more requirement. Those sides have to be equal. So here you have a quadrilateral rectangle with 4 equal sides, so it's now a square. We have the 4 sides, and we also have the 4 right angles, but the sides are equal. So that's the difference between a quadrilateral rectangle and a square. I'm Bon Crowder with Math4.com, reminding you that math is not a 4-letter word.
I'll explain you more detail about a square and a rectangle. So the first is a square. All sides of a square are equal and have the same length. Square has 2 parts of parallel side and have the same length. Then all 4 angles of a square are right angles. 2 diagonals of a square are the same length. So the conclusion is that a square is a rectangle that all 4 sides are the same length. The next one is a rectangle. So opposite sides of a rectangle are parallel and have the same length. Then all 4 angles of a rectangle are right angles. And also 2 diagonals of a rectangle are the same length. So the conclusion is a rectangle is a quadrilateral with 4 right angles and the length of the opposite sides are the same. The next is I'll explain you how to calculate a perimeter of a rectangle. So to calculate the perimeter of an object of space, you will need to add the length and width, then multiply by 2. For example, this rectangle have 2 and 4, so the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 plus 4 multiplied by 2. So the perimeter of this rectangle are 12. It also means the same as 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 4, and the answer is also 12. The perimeter of a square. So to find the perimeter of a square, multiply the side by 4. For example, the side of this square is 3, so the perimeter is 3 multiplied by 4. So the answer is 12. The next one is the area of a rectangle. The area of a rectangle is determined by multiplying length with width. Then the area of a square. You find the area of a square by multiplying the side by itself. Any question?
No.
Okay, so now is the time to discussion. I want you to work in pairs. So all of you is already in pairs, right?
Yes, Mom.
Okay, great. So I'll give you the topic to discuss, but first each of you should be think by yourself. Then please discuss with your friend. Then I'll ask you to share the result of your discussion to a whole class. Okay, is the instruction clear enough for you?
Yes, Mom.
Okay, so let's discuss. Okay, the time is up. Okay, now I want you to share the result of your discussion, and please one of this group come here and share the result of your discussion.
What is the difference between a square and a rectangle? 1. All the sides of a square are of equal length. All sides of a rectangle are not equal in length. The two pairs of opposite sides are of equal length. The diagonals of a square are perpendicular bisector of each other. The diagonal of a rectangle are not perpendicular bisector of each other.
Yes, you are right. All the sides of a square are equal, but not all sides of a rectangle are equal. And also, the diagonal of a square are perpendicular bisector of each other, but the diagonals of a rectangle are not perpendicular bisector of each other. So, before I end this meeting, anyone to say anything?
No.
Okay, so it means that you have understand the lesson today. Okay, so I'll give you the assignment. Please do it with yourself and submit it to me in the next meeting. Is that clear so far?
Yes, Mom.
Okay, so I think it's enough for today. I hope this meeting will be useful for us. Thank you for your coming and see you in the next meeting.
See you!